back. Now, school bullying is back in the spotlight following the death of Tumelo Mothotoane. The 15-year-old apparently took her life after she was bullied at her Limpopo school, that's Mbilwi Secondary School. We continue to look into bullying at schools this morning, and we're now joined by education expert Mary Metcalfe. Thank you so much for your time, Ms. Metcalfe. I mean, there were reports coming in that unfortunately Tumelo had, reported incidents of bullying to, her teachers, but it seems nothing was done about this. And that seems to be the trend in most schools, where when a child comes or a pupil comes and reports bullying, it's just not taken as seriously. What is then the role of educators in dealing with bullying in schools?
Educators have such complex responsibilities. We usually think about them as simply leading learning, that it's their responsibility to transmit content. But schools are complex institutions, and large schools are even more complex. Learners move between home, school, and community, and problems in attitudes and values and relationships within any one of those contexts gets taken into the other. Now, teachers have a responsibility for the socio-emotional well-being of their learners as much as they do with the content that they're teaching. And in order for them to be able to do that, schools themselves need care and support in terms of their relationships with home and community. A problem where a child is being physically abused at school is completely unacceptable. A problem where a child is being teased and relentlessly harassed by her colleagues means that the school is not supporting relationships within the learners that are governed by civility, by compassion, by care, by looking after each other. Now, the stories that we've heard from Mbilwi suggest that the principal was frustrated and he decided to report the challenges further up the line. Now, a problem such as bullying can only be dealt with at the level of the school itself, together with the community. I'm sure that successful schools are those when there are problems in relation to learners' behavior to each other, are schools where they pull the parents in, community structures in, and deal with the culture of support that needs to be at the school for all learners to flourish.
I wanted to find out, what do you think are some of the root causes of bullying at schools? Because we know that it's an environment that children spend most of their hours in together. They spend most of their times together within the school grounds and within the school infrastructure. It seems it's a problem that almost every other school nationally is dealing with. Adults still, remember the days they were bullied at school, because after Tumelo had unfortunately committed suicide, we saw so many people on social media sharing their own bullying stories from school. What could be the root cause here?
Where there are, whether it's at home or whether it's in community, where there are acts of aggression towards members in the family, members of the community, where there is not a value of care and caring for each other in community and at home, that is also going to affect school. Schools are places where so many young people, as you say, spend a lot of time together. And we need very clear rules and protocols in terms of how people and how learners behave. This playground and on the way back from school, acts of flagrant aggression from one learner to another, and where there's several examples from Limpopo at the moment. Last year there were examples from KwaZulu-Natal, need to be understood as a problem of the values that are being experienced, of how we interact with each other with care. Now, violence at home, violence in the community, a sense that it is through corporal punishment that we resolve our problems, needs to be replaced with some serious attention to building in schools a sense of protecting each other. As much as I would like to be treated with a level of common courtesy and care for my well-being, I need to display that to others. That needs to be taken through in the rules of the school, the culture of the school, and the ways in which conflict is resolved. Where we have levels of conflict, such as we've seen in those videos, we need to have teachers who are supported to come in and resolve those conflicts in a way that is respectful and is building attitudes and behaviors towards others that will build our society and not undermine and destroy.
Ms. Metcalfe, you raise an important point, because in as much as there were some pupils who may not have physically assaulted Rufono, they were bystanders. They were cheering on this behavior, and they were making the perpetrator to feel like a hero in this instance. And this is quite common in most schools, where children seem to be entertained or excited when a fight erupts randomly in a school ground. My question to you is, what policies need to be placed in school governing bodies to advise, the victim, the teachers, the perpetrators, the bystanders, sort of the multi-layered stakeholder that we see in ensuring that this does not occur again?
All the rules are there. Principals and teachers, school leaders know that they need to be constantly, first of all, creating a set of values within the school that are consistently applied, that where there are misdemeanors, from small to large, that they are dealt with, that there's supervision, that children are supported to understand that there are more productive ways of resolving conflict. Where you have a fight breaking out in a school like that, it means firstly that there's a lack of supervision within the playground. Secondly, that there's not a consistent practice of a set of rules that are based on respect for each other. And that where children infringe, where learners infringe those rules, there's a clear procedure of guidance and correction, and making sure that actions such as mocking, bullying, humiliating other learners are, in terms of the culture of the school, absolutely unacceptable. That parents are called in where their children are frequently either the perpetrator or the victim, that there's an understanding that this is a problem we can only solve together, where everyone is where all stakeholders are talking the same language, that the way that we treat each other in our society is fundamental to the health of that society. And in a society, whether it's the community of the school or outside the gates of the school, where we abuse each other in this way, is a fundamentally unacceptable way of being. It has to be built into the whole rituals and the values and the messaging in school and beyond. We cannot treat each other like this.
We'll leave it there, but thank you so much for your time and giving us some clarity and insight into this issue. That was the education expert, Mary Metcalfe.